Paddy, bit in the surface. I guess how good is it now to be back home after what's been another really busy year and I guess spent time.
Green top, pretty uneven. Happy with that. It's so good to be home. Yeah, I've basically spent, I think it was 2 days at home since kind of the start of the New Zealand trip, which was early Feb. So yeah, pumped just to have a bit of normality, sleep in my own bed, cook dinners. Yeah, it's great. So I think there's a fair few people, a few of the boys in the similar boat to me, where we're all kind of pretty happy to be home.
Doesn't last long, right? For most of the boys, I know you're not, but most of the boys, I guess, fly out to England in a few weeks' time, then you've got the big summer ahead.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, a lot of them, just about everyone was in town last week doing some of the content capture, and then most of the squad are off to England in a couple of weeks. So yeah, it comes around quick. So you try and pinch the time where you can, but yeah.
Have you found time to start getting excited for this summer? Obviously, it's such a big test series coming up and to have 5 tests against India. Like, do you need to almost put aside some time to start building yourself up for it?
Yeah, this week having so much time doing content capture, you get asked a million questions about it. I think that's when I'm starting to get my head around it. But you know, we've still got plenty of time, so I quite like taking breaks where I can and not think about it too much, knowing that once it gets busy, it's going to get real busy and we'll have to be on. But yeah, for me, it's kind of the next big cricket that's coming up, so it certainly feels like it's very close.
How important is it, I guess, to have this break? Like, you know, how tough has it been with the schedule you guys have had so far?
You know, it's all good things being away. It's more just, you know, a bit of rest at home, especially as a fast bowler. It's for me, it's doing lots of strength work, fitness work, just trying to kind of fill up the bucket again after pretty much 2 years of non-stop bowling. So I'll have close to 2 months totally off bowling. So hopefully come that first test match, like that's as good a condition as I've been in for probably, you know, half a dozen years. Hopefully that's the aim. So it is important. You kind of can't go forever. So hopefully, you know, a couple of months, don't waste that break.
There's no doubt that you and the rest of the bowling cartel are coming towards the end of their career rather than the start. Is there more of an emphasis on managing the workload now?
I wouldn't say it's any different to the last few years. I think, you know, we all do it a little bit differently. You know, for me, I've been going kind of non-stop for 2 years, so I'll have a bit of a break and then build up again. Joshy Hazelwood, you know, he likes to kind of keep ticking over and hasn't played quite as much this year or so. So it's always a challenge. You know, our aim is to play as many test matches as possible and hopefully lots of other cricket in between. But you know, you see this white ball tour coming out. There's lots of young talent coming through, as well as senior guys like Michael Nessa, Scotty Boland. Those guys are who we know can step in at any time and be successful.
A number of the bowlers have spoken about having a bowling captain and a certain empathy that you have with them. Do you think it's helped having someone who empathises with the bowler's workload and keeping you guys on the park so much, particularly over the last 18 months or so?
I mean, potentially. It's nice of them to say that. They'd never say it to my face. Look, I think when I'm at the top of my kind of asking them to do something, they know I'm also doing it down the other end, and I wouldn't ask something from them that I can't do myself. So maybe there's a bit of built-up trust over the last decade or so, I hope. Yeah.
And alongside that, you've got 2 all-rounders in the top 6 at the moment. How much of an advantage is that?
It's been huge, and in some ways we haven't had to use them as much as, you know, perhaps we thought we would, which is a great thing. The last couple of summers have been relatively light, you know, quick test matches, but I suspect, you know, this summer might be a little bit different at times and be drawing on, you know, Cam Green and Mitch Marsh a lot more. Maybe even Marnus's bowling. He keeps asking, but he'll probably be after the other 2.
The other week in county cricket.
Did he?
Yeah.
Didn't send me that one.
Did you see the catch that he took over there?
I did see the catch. I did message him, so that is pretty good actually. But yeah, even someone like Cam Green, you know, he basically started in Shield cricket as a bowler, but hasn't really had to bowl heaps in test matches. Now he's a few years older. I think we'll be leaning on him a little bit more.
And how much cricket do you expect to play in terms of Shield cricket before the start of the summer? Because there's a block there for I think up to 4 games. I don't imagine you'll play that much, but do you have any idea how that'll work out? Yeah,
so got those ODIs. So aim to, you know, absolutely be part of that series, and then we'll kind of map out, you know, either one Shield game or if it's not, you know, some kind of match simulation prep. But yeah, it's kind of the priority at the moment is to smash out some gym work really. And then kind of reassess in a couple of weeks and start mapping out a path forward. So I'd say, you know, at least a New South Wales one-day game, if not Shield game, before those ODIs.
Pat, what's the modern sort of feeling about club versus country? Because obviously you had a big haul through the IPL and you played at the MLC, but you're not going to England for one days.
Yeah, this was an interesting year in that this gap kind of leading to the summer was always pre-planned. MLC popped up late, and kind of when talking through the schedule, didn't really change any of the prep leading to the summer. So it was a nice little gap, which isn't always going to be the case. It's going to be other seasons where international cricket kind of clashes, and that takes priority.
So is that a case of sort of prioritising Test cricket, make sure you're sort of cherry right going into the summer?
Yeah, that was the reason behind the break. Yeah, there aren't many breaks in the calendar unless you kind of manufacture one. So medical staff and coaches and everyone thought this was a good opportunity to have a month or so off bowling for my body, and then build up and hopefully be in as good a position as possible for the 5 tests.
And it's great to see you back in Thunder colours. I think it's 6 or 7 years since you played for Thunder. So do you envisage at the back end of the season being able to get a few games into the Thunder?
I think it's going to be tough. We've got the 5 test matches straight into the Sri Lanka tour. Basically a week or so after the last test will fly off. So I think it might be tough, but hopefully get out to a few games to support them.
But news around yesterday that the Gabba will miss out on the test match in a couple of years' time, and beyond that, it's a bit shaky ground for them just based on stadium uncertainty and whatnot. Like, I know you guys have lost there twice in the last couple of years, but for a long time that's been such an advantage for the Australian team. Like, how important was it? I guess how much of a blow would it be if you won't have the Gabba for a while?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's obviously nothing to do with me or the team. Those decisions are made by government and Cricket Australia. Look, we love playing at the Gabba. As I said, we've lost a couple of times in the last few years, but overall our record's great. Queensland crowds, always good, always nice weather. So we really like playing up there. So we'll wait and see what happens. I understand at least the next 2 years are still locked away at the Gabba, and work out after that.
On the Gabba as well, there's obviously been a bit of talk about where the pink ball test is going to be and how it changes a little bit. Do you have a preference of where you guys get to play that pink ball test during the summer?
Probably. I think Adelaide do it really well. Again, I think they might be moving away from it. I think the main thing that you'll hear from all the players, and it's super consistent, is you've got to get the conditions right for a pink ball test. Pink ball test matches can be wonderful balance between bat and ball and spectacles, or if the conditions aren't quite right, they can be quite boring test matches. So Adelaide's always done it really well. So if it moves away from Adelaide, I think it's, whoever takes it up, it's, as long as you get the conditions right, then it shouldn't be too different.
So when you say getting the conditions right, does that mean because if the ball gets soft, it can get too flat? Or?
Bang on, yeah. If it gets too soft, it's like a one-day ball. It can get really kind of just benign, really. So it just reacts a little bit different to a red ball. But as I said, Adelaide, pretty much every year I've got it spot on.
You won a T20 World Cup, an ODI World Cup, and a World Test Championship. There's a gold medal on the cards. Obviously, the Olympics coming to LA in 2028.
That'd be pretty awesome. I think after seeing Paris the last few weeks, started to get pretty excited about potentially going. Hadn't really ever been on any of our radars. So 4 years away, anything can happen. So you never quite know. But I mean, that'd be awesome to represent Australia, kind of in the middle of an Olympics. That'd be special.
And Paddy, you were reflecting before about, not having to use both your all-rounders like Matt in the top 6 so far. Like, how much of a emphasis is placed on that kind of moving forward? Like I saw in the context of Steve reflecting the other day about not just being certain exactly where his best spot is moving forward in that top 6. Like, is having both your all-rounders in there a big emphasis?
I mean, I think the first point is they both absolutely make the top 6 when they're batting alone, which is a luxury. We're really lucky that someone like Nathan Lyon can bowl plenty of overs, so you don't necessarily have to have an all-rounder, but it makes a big difference to have that 5th bowling option. And with Cam and Marshy, we've got 6 bowling options, so it's a really nice thing to have. But top 6 always we think should make the team on their batting.
With just getting back to the Gabba, when you guys sort of open the season at the Gabba, you're virtually unbeatable. The last 2 tests you played there, when you haven't opened the season, you've been beaten. Is there anything we can take out of that? Any relevance of that?
I think January up there is a little bit different. It's a bit more humid, a bit hotter. But I think that's about it really. Conditions are pretty similar, and outplayed in both those test matches.
Because Josh said he likes starting there because it's not as hot.
Yeah, Josh is a big sweater. As soon as I think he debuted maybe in a January test match up there. I might get it wrong, but he still talks about that debut first day as I was like 50 degrees and 180% humidity the way he talks about it. So he always gets worried when it's in January.
Just on what the pink ball stuff, talking about when it's next summer, like, is it important from what you're saying there that there's just, like, they pick a venue and they make that consistently a pink ball venue? Because, like, Adelaide has it down pat, but that's probably because they've had it for how many years now. Like, would you like to see the Gabba becomes a pink ball venue that's consistently a pink ball venue, or wherever, in that sense?
Yeah, I think ideally having some certainty around the schedule does help, with home advantage really. And yeah, as I said, for somewhere that's so conditions based, I think the pink ball having some kind of consistency to help the ground staff out, that probably would be beneficial. Yeah.
And then just on like cricket event side of things, I don't know if it, like say, played in front of pitches as Rocky as this as a kid, but any sort of, I don't know how many memories stand out for you from the early years?
Yeah, I'll definitely be having a bowl on that pitch. I mean, very different settings here, playing on the half to a lot of my childhood, but I mean, cricket was such a big part of my childhood for summer. Every afternoon after school was spent in the backyard, school holidays was spent in the backyard or by the beach, playing cricket, watching cricket, and then every weekend was taken up basically by me begging mum and dad to go and let me play for every team I could sign up for. So I think it teaches you so many life lessons above just being super fun and enjoyable, so I'd encourage everyone to sign up.
What's your first memory of cricket?
It'd have to be in the backyard with my two older brothers. Just chase them around with a plastic bat. And then I still always remember that first, the first day of the test match each summer as well, on the old Channel 9, I think it used to be, which was normally Gabba. First day of the first test, racing home from school and flicking that on.